It is WrestleMania season where we start having these what-if matches, these what-if dream matches. It's always a conversation around this time of year where you almost say that, I wish we could have gotten this year. I thought this would be the year we'd get Rock and Roman Reigns. I thought last year would be the year that we got Rock and Roman Reigns. It happens every year. I want to list some of my WrestleMania dream matches that I never got, that I wish we could see. And I'm still in this hotel, and I'm bored as ever. So here we go. Now, I do think some of my matches are going to be a little bit different and a little unique compared to other ones. I'm trying to not reuse the same ones that everybody says. So we're going to start with one of my all-time dream matches in The Rock versus Randy Orton. Now, originally, I did have The Rock versus Shawn Michaels, and that still is probably one of my biggest what-if dream matches ever. But in reality, The Rock and Shawn Michaels never truly got along back in the day. I originally had it, but I replaced it with Randy Orton because it's a match that I wish we could have seen. We got a little taste of it at WrestleMania 20 when the Rock and Sock Connection fought against Evolution, but it was young Randy versus a very odd Rock with a goatee, with hair. It's a very weird look when looking back at it now. I don't think this would have been one of the greatest matches ever. A nice little history of The Rock and Randy Orton being, I believe, the first two third-generation superstars in WWE. It would have been a mega match, and I would have loved to see it. One of my biggest what-if matches ever. We still could technically get it if we get lucky enough where Randy helps Cody Rhodes down the line this year with Cody Rhodes and John Cena and The Rock. We might get it. I don't know. But this is still the biggest what-if one-on-one match, probably other than Shawn Michaels. Another one of probably my biggest what-if, biggest matches of all time would be Stone Cold Steve Austin versus John Cena. Literally the Attitude Era versus the Ruthless Aggression Era. You have GOAT versus GOAT in a lot of people's eyes. The Rock is my favorite. I consider him the greatest of all time, but I understand why some people would say John Cena. I understand why some people would say Stone Cold Steve Austin. And this would be a huge match. I still don't think it would be the greatest match, and I would love to have seen CM Punk versus Stone Cold, and we almost got it, but we never did. But to me, CM Punk and Shawn Michaels are two guys that you could really put with anybody and call it a dream match because they'll be able to get a match out of anybody. CM Punk and Shawn Michaels could get a 3-star match out of me. But in terms of Stone Cold Steve Austin versus John Cena, one of the biggest matches on paper of all time, GOAT versus GOAT. This is Mount Rushmore's colliding. And it's just a match we never got. It's a match we'll never see. But again, just like with Randy Orton, we might be able to get this at WrestleMania 41 because there are rumors of potentially Stone Cold returning at WrestleMania. We could get an interaction with John Cena and Stone Cold Steve Austin. I doubt we'd get a match, but it would be crazy. Now, just hear me out with this one. Everybody, this is the most tired what if. This is the most tired and talked about dream match of everybody's. It's Sting versus The Undertaker. But I'm going to throw a little bit of a loop in here and make it a little bit more fun because one of my favorite horror characters, one of my favorite creepy characters in WWE was the Fiend Bray Wyatt. Imagine the build you could get with the three of them, with how creepy all three of them are, and different ways that they could all play mind games on each other. It would be a fun build up to a pretty fun match, and we'd still be able to see Sting versus The Undertaker, which I still wish. I think it's insane we never got that match. I just think it'd be a fun dream match and a fun triple threat match, and I think it'd be fantastic if they're all in their primes. And now we have one of, if not the biggest graps match maybe ever, in Daniel Bryan versus Bret the Hitman Hart in a submission match, especially. Just two of legitimately the greatest in-ring, like actual wrestlers in the world and ever. I just think it'd be a crazy match. The grappling that they would be able to do, the match and the storytelling they'd be able to put on, just two eras colliding would be amazing. It would be a lot of fun. The next couple are like guys that you could intertwine with each other, and it would all be dream matches, and this being one of them. And I say that because this is a match that I would have killed someone for, and it's CM Punk versus Kurt Angle, the wrestling machine. CM Punk is one of my favorites of all time, and Kurt Angle is on my personal Mount Rushmore because I believe he's one of the best to ever do it, simply because he could do everything. He could wrestle, he could talk, he could entertain, he could put on goofy segments, he could do serious segments, as we've seen. All around one of the greatest workers ever, a guy that can truly do everything and is good at everything, could even cut a good promo, whether it be funny, serious, or whatever, but just a pure entertainer at its core, but also legitimately one of the best athletes of all time in WWE. And putting those two together, it would just be almost like Shawn Michaels versus Kurt Angle. It would be a 10-star match. It would be phenomenal. The promos leading up to it would be great. And just seeing CM Punk work with someone like Kurt Angle at WrestleMania of all places would be absolutely insane. It's a match that I would literally pay so much money to see. I would love to see this match. Next, we have a fatal four-way between the Hardys, the Usos, A New Day, and the Dudley Boys in a TLC ladder match, tag team tornado ladder match, TLC, whatever you want to call it. Just absolute chaos. Some of the greatest tag teams of all time in WWE going at it. If the Hardys are in TLC, just sign me up. If you got the Dudley Boys in there as well, obviously sign me up. We've seen what they've done at WrestleMania 16, SummerSlam, and WrestleMania 17. With a new modern day version with the Usos, and then just one of the greatest tag teams ever in the New Day, it would be phenomenal. Next, straight up, just beef versus beef. We have Batista versus Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar back in the day in the Ruthless Aggression era was one of the top guys. Batista was still trying to find his way. Eventually got to Evolution, but by that time, Brock Lesnar had already been gone. Brock Lesnar came back, did his dominance, and then by then, Batista was gone. So it's like they just never lined up perfectly. They're from the same class in OVW, and it's just crazy that they never actually stepped in the ring together. It's just a match we never saw, just two beefy men just going at it. This is like Vince McMahon's dream. I don't know how he didn't book this match. Next, we have the new era versus the old era, and Bron Breakker versus Goldberg. I consider Bron Breakker to be a much more talented and much better working Goldberg. It'd be cool to see the dominant version of Goldberg versus someone like Bron Breakker. Would just be an incredible match. Not because it would be a technical masterpiece, but just because the hard-hitting speed and power that they would both have. Just showing off their incredible strength and talent and athleticism would be enough for me to really want to see this match. Next, we're going to be in some sort of no-holds-barred street fight with Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn versus Rob Van Dam versus Cactus Jack. The bumps in this match, I can't even begin to explain. Who knows what they would do or who knows what they wouldn't do. Cactus Jack is just a psycho. I love Cactus Jack. He's just willing to do anything. He's willing to die in the ring. And then you have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, who are both incredible workers. They've shown that they can take these types of bumps, and they have great matches together. A pure ECW guy in Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam just being one of my favorite mid-carders of WWE ever. I love Rob Van Dam. I wish he got to that next level, and when he finally did, he kind of screwed it up. But I love RVD. One of my favorite mid-card guys ever. One of my favorite like high flyers, because I feel like he was a little bit of a hybrid. He was super athletic, but wasn't just a fly guy or just like doing a bunch of flips and shit like that. Like, he was awesome. So that match would be so much fun. Next, we have AJ Lee versus Io Sky. Basically, the best women's wrestler of the early 2010s versus the best women's wrestler of 2024, 2025. I just think that would be, it's a very simple and easy match to make, and I think they would do wonders in the ring together. Next, we have Eddie Guerrero versus Dominic Mysterio, and I think this is a story that writes itself. Obviously, we can never get this match with the passing of Eddie Guerrero. Dom looks almost like a spitting image of Eddie Guerrero. Just having them collide would be amazing, and to see that interaction with a prime Eddie Guerrero would be awesome, and it would be cool to see. Obviously, unfortunately, we'll never get that or even an interaction with them, but a fun match to really think about and to think like what if they were able to actually do something like this. Next, we have Shawn Michaels versus AJ Styles, and Shawn Michaels is a guy that you could make a whole list of dream matches just for him. I would love to see Shawn Michaels go against basically everybody, but to see Shawn Michaels go against a prime AJ Styles would just be, it's another one of like CM Punk versus Kurt Angle. I just think this match, there's no way that they could fuck this match up, and it would just be phenomenal. Shawn Michaels, like I said before, you could put me in a ring right now with Shawn Michaels in his prime. We're getting 3 stars. He'll get something out of me. So putting him in the ring with a guy like AJ Styles would be a phenomenal match. It would be a masterpiece, and it would just be phenomenal. No pun intended. Next, we have Rhea Ripley versus Chyna, and I think this one's just kind of obvious. It's like the two muscle women in WWE going at it. I don't think the match would be great, but it would just be more so for the spectacle of it. Just a fun match seeing them two go at it. They're very similar in a lot of ways in certain things, but it would be a fun match, and something I would like to see. Next, we have Bianca Belair versus Trish Stratus, and I don't know if they've ever gone at it ever, but it would be cool to see like one of the top women in WWE right now versus Trish Stratus, who was basically the queen for however long back in the Attitude Era. It would be cool for them to go at it. There's still a chance it could happen, because Trish is definitely willing to do at least one more match. Just did one last month. Seeing them two in their primes go at it would just be a generational women's match, and it would be a lot of fun. Next, we have a match that can totally 100% happen in Gunther versus Roman Reigns. I just don't see them putting them two together. I just think the in-ring work that Gunther could do with the storytelling and like the crowd work of Roman Reigns, they could put on a fantastic match. It'd be super hard hitting. I like Roman in these hard hitting matches, and I think Gunther's a fantastic in-ring performer. So putting them two together, maybe Roman competes for the World Heavyweight Championship. It's a current dream match that's 100% possible. They could literally do it on a Monday Night Raw, and it would work. Would be great to see. This is easily WrestleMania worthy, and it would be awesome to see them two go at it. And last but certainly not least, you have Triple H versus Cody Rhodes, and it's shocking that this match has never happened, but especially an American Nightmare Cody Rhodes versus a prime like 2002, 2003 Triple H. Triple H is arguably one of the best workers in the ring of all time, a fantastic storyteller, with a guy like Cody Rhodes, who's also a fantastic in-ring performer and also just a great storyteller. they would be able to make magic in the ring. You could say whatever you want about Triple H, Golden Shovel, the Reign of Terror, all this stuff about Triple H. Triple H has always been one of the top heels ever, and to have your top heel go against your number 1 babyface right now in Cody Rhodes, they could put on a classic match, and it would be hard-hitting, it would be intense. The promos and the rivalry leading up to WrestleMania would be absolutely generational, and it'd be a lot of fun to watch. So obviously there's hundreds of different dream matches you could do. Even with just the list of the guys and women that I gave you, you could mix and match people and it's still justifiable. Like, for example, my biggest dream match currently, I mean, besides Roman Reigns and The Rock, would be The Rock versus Shawn Michaels. We'll never get that match. You can mix and match so many people. You could do CM Punk versus Shawn Michaels. Like, I think that would be a fucking 15 out of 5 stars. Like, it would be generational stuff, and we'd be able to goon over it forever. But obviously we can't. But I would love to hear some of your guys' matches. Obviously, you can mix and match so many different versions of the matches that I gave you, but I would love to hear some of your own. Maybe list me some that people really don't talk about. Let me know. I want to hear it. A shout out to you guys. We're on the road to 10K. Let me in.